Going live. And welcome.
Hey.
I hesitated for a moment because, sometimes we're conditioned to use certain words without really going inside of ourselves to really sense what our spirit wants to say. And I want to start off this way. It was about a week and a half ago, I was on YouTube, and all of a sudden what came across my feed were these two gentlemen. So for some reason, and I know the reason now, I have no doubt it was God guiding me to listen to this, to their broadcast. I have zero doubt. So all of a sudden, what caught me, especially now in our modern times, was a father and son.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was important to me,
okay.
Along with what they do in their purpose, working together, construction. When I really thought about it, they are doing exactly what God intended them to do. When you look at life, sometimes we get wrecked, we get demolished, we don't know how to rebuild, and they're the example of how not only to rebuild with our physical, but how do we rebuild in the spirit. When things go wrong, when things get sort of torn apart, and I've been through that, sometimes it takes letting go. So I want to introduce two men that I really respect. And once again, I was introduced to them on YouTube. But I believe this ministry they have, and it's not only construction, I really believe God is going to guide them to platforms that they probably never even thought about. So let's welcome Deion Davis and his dad, Mr. Davis. Welcome to both of you.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Thank you.
Very good.
For the introduction.
Sometimes I think when we have something in life, and I'm talking about relationships, sometimes we take it for granted because it's who we are.
Yeah.
You are a father and son, but you also do business together.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the way that families are being torn apart in this day and age, to see that type of model, especially working together, it's medicine for many, and I don't think you guys may realize it.
Yeah.
So I would like to go with your dad first, if you don't mind, Deion.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, that's not a problem.
Yeah. So, Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think you're here right now on this broadcast?
I guess I'm here to spread good inspiration for people that might be looking, that might be not all together with the Lord, and also make people understand that we as people, as father and son in a family type of generation, we can come together to work together. Because as our generations or our people are, we don't know how to work together to make things happen. So my son and I are here to kind of, I came here from Philadelphia, and I was like, okay, I'm going to work with my son when we have a business here, and we're gonna make this thing happen, so that now other people that might be able to look up to Deion and myself can be like, okay, there is a situation where us as people can kind of work together and get things taken care of.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Now, Deion, could you share a little bit about yourself? And we're going to go in the framework of, first of all, share with the audience what you do as far as a ministry. It's your business. Share with us about your business and how did God lead you to that business?
So it all started out, I played football, like I already told you before the podcast started. I played college football, and it didn't seem like, from the very beginning, it seemed as though that was my purpose that I had in life. That's what it seemed like to me personally. But then as I started getting farther and farther in my career, it seemed like that wasn't the path that God wanted me to go on. So, I started in landscaping. I started cutting grass. when I left practice. So I would be doing football at the same time in college as, playing and start running my business, starting it out pretty much. It wasn't nothing crazy, but that's just how I started off. And it was just like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it each and every day. So that's how I kind of did it. And then I started leaning less towards football and more towards me running my business. And that's how we started. That's how I kicked off with it. And got started. From that point, obviously, once I was done football, because I had an injury that was, it kind of ended my career medically. I decided to go full-fledged into my business, and I just started taking it 100% serious. And I already had my dad already in business doing construction, so it was like I already had a role model to follow behind, and I already kind of understood how I can kind of get into it. And if I had to get any advice, I would go directly to him for each situation when I was running the business, so it made it a lot easier. And then from there, I just kept on growing and taking it, and we're at to the point where I currently. And then the YouTube thing kind of just was like I like creating videos, and then because me and my dad, a long time ago, like 3 years ago, that's when we made the first. Remember the bamboo job?
Oh, the bamboo job.
Yeah, the bamboo job. That's when we made that first video. And then I didn't kind of take it serious at first because I was just kind of like making them. But then more recently, I was like, I'm going to take it serious because I like doing it, and people were actually inspired by it. So I was like, I'm going to take it more serious, and I appreciate everybody supporting me in the journey with it. So.
Could you share with Mr. Davis? Could you share with the audience what type of business do you and your son have?
Okay, here in Florida, we have a business. We clear land, we do excavating, and we also flip houses. We're builders. We build houses from the ground up. We do all types of innovation that's involved in a house. And also besides that, we also do land clearing, excavating, and brush cutting. Brush cutting. So we have equipment. We have an excavator. We have 2 skid loaders, and we also have 2 dump trailers that we run our business out of. So we do everything from A to Z pretty much. That's in the trades.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Deion, how can you compare construction with the certain battles that you face as a youth in your life? Can you see it's very symbolic to construction? Yeah. Share with us, please. Share, please.
I feel like with the construction, it has a lot to do with showing like the obstacles in life you're going to run into. Because in construction, when you're doing jobs, you always run into problems when you're doing jobs. It's just what it is in construction. You're working with heavy equipment. You're working with tools. Sometimes you have tool failures. Sometimes, some people don't show up for work. And it just pretty much you got to sit there and figure out how to persevere through that situation you're running through. Because that's just what's going to happen in life as well. Like in life, nothing's going to run smoothly. You're always going to be running into problems. And it's just about you're going to get back up and just keep going, keep pushing. So that's what construction is about. Because a lot of people don't understand that when they get into this business, that it's not as easy as it looks. It's pretty hard. It's really hard, actually. And you run into a lot of problems. And it's not even about what problems you run into. It's about how you're going to get back up and solve that problem and keep going forward, keep pushing,
Well, perfect example. We have a listener right now. His name is James. And he writes, "Hi, I'm from Florida, and I have all my tools and have experience. Where are you guys located?"
We're in Florida as well, actually. We're in Central Florida.
What part?
We're in Central Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Davis, another thing that I enjoy, and first of all, share your YouTube channel if you could.
Oh, my YouTube channel is Entrepreneur Davis.
Okay. Mr. Davis, what really inspired me, I was looking at your son and his mindset.
Yes, sir.
He shared with me his business experiences in the beginning where he just tried, so many different things. But as he developed as a person, he thought out everything before he made certain decisions. Now, it took me a while to get to that level. When I was younger, I wanted things quick. I made decisions based on my emotions, not always making conscious choices. So to see someone that young to make business decisions and really think it through, where did he learn that? Share with us, Mr. Davis.
I mean, well, first and foremost, he got that from the Lord above. I mean, I was a huge hand involved with it as well because his mother and I, we ran our business. I've been running my business for 35 years. And so since he was a child, all he ever saw was me going out and getting work, signing jobs, getting contracts done. So I would say that I did have a small part on that as far as his experience. But the real power came from the Lord. And I mean, he had already had that in him to say, okay, I don't want to work for somebody my entire life. What I want to do is actually be the owner of the company. Because I know even when my kids was younger, I told them, I said, listen, if you're going to go out every day, if you're going to work for someone and they're going to just pay you a few pennies here and there where they feel like you're satisfied at, then you might as well take that same inspiration that you have and just put it all towards what you want to do and build your own company. And then and ever since then, that's what he's been doing.
Yep.
When did you both realize that, you're now with him in Florida? When did you realize that, hey, let's work together and see what happens? Why did that happen?
Well, when I was younger, actually, I used to work with my dad
Right.
already. Like, I've been working with him probably since like 13 years old.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to go to Florida because, I just like Florida pretty much. And then we seen the opportunity for contractors because you can kind of work all year round. Up north, the 6 months out of the year when it gets cold. And, I mean, you can still get work done, because he's a home builder, so he builds houses all the time. But for me, I was doing landscaping. I couldn't do any work. I had to kind of pivot myself in my business to still make money throughout those winter months and those colder months. So then I decided to go to Florida, and then I kind of convinced my dad. I was like, Florida has a lot of work out here, and, he still has his business up in Pennsylvania, but, he kind of set it up where he didn't have to be there in person to run that business. So then he was able to come out here, and I don't have any employees out here. So I was like, Dad, can you help me? And I could trust my dad. He's going to show up. We both could trust each other. And that was just the way we kind of got into it and decided to make that move.
I have another question, Deion, before we get back to your dad.
Yep.
Is it hard, especially now, to find loyal workers, to find workers who don't mind starting from I wouldn't say the bottom, let's say a fair market rate per hour?
Yeah.
Is it hard to find those workers? Do they want to stop on top? Share with us how difficult it may be now.
It's especially hard in construction and contracting to find workers. Like, I mean, you can't really start people on the top unless they have proof in the pudding. Like, you somehow, some way, you've seen them and you've seen their skills some kind of way. Like, so it is very hard because you got to start them at the low level so you can build that trust with them and then eventually get to the point where you're paying them a lot more money and then they can possibly become a foreman for you, But it is very hard to find people because, people don't want to stick around for that long. And, a lot of times guys are just thinking like, if I'm working for this guy in this construction, maybe I can go out and get my own work. So then they formulate that plan and then they work with you for a little while. Then they go ahead and, go do their own thing. So it is very hard, but I mean, it can be done though.
And thank you, Deion.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis, let's go back when you first started really understanding what you were going to place your energy in as far as your working environment. When you first started discovering your skills, your natural skills, and I was listening to one of your videos and you said you love building, you love construction.
Absolutely.
But did you have to start at the bottom and build your way up? And if you did so, share with us the gift of starting at the bottom.
Absolutely. I started, like I said in the video, I started out as an extra laborer many, many years ago when I dropped out of college. And I was working for a company called Garvin, where I was the laborer. I was carrying wood every day, stacking wood up. And basically, I just put the components in order and said, okay, well, if I take all this wood here and stack it here right now, prior to when the carpenters need it, then now I can go and look over the carpenter's shoulder and learn how to actually be a builder. So that's what I would do. I would go and I would stack all the material up on the deck so that now that's in place. So I would stage everything. So I would stage all of the 2x4s, all the plywood, all the floor joists, all the joist hangers, everything. I would stage everything in order. So now my job as being a laborer was done. And at that point there, then I would go and I would stand over the carpenter's shoulder and watch exactly what he's doing and ask questions. And that's how I started to learn. And then I would start asking questions like, okay, well, how do you read blueprints? What does that number mean? What does this mean? What is that dimension? How do you get to this point? How do you cut this rafter? How do you use a saw? And the people that I work with, they said, wow, Desmond, you have a huge interest in building. So then they kind of took me under their wing and just started showing me step by step on how to read blueprints, how to build houses, how to follow everything, because everything has a dimension. You know what I mean? How to find a dimension, how to square a building out, how to do everything to the point where you get the house up to a living part.
I take a breath because I'm listening to you, and I appreciate you because I believe in values. You know, the more that we recognize this, let me back off here for a moment. My thoughts are getting in front of me, so I got to take a moment to take a step back. What I witnessed at the end of your videos, Deion, you always mention God.
Every time.
Let me ask you this. If God wasn't in your relationship, if you didn't have a relationship with God, do you think you would experience the same success as
I don't think so. Because like I always say, all glory goes to God, and all the blessings I have in my life are from God. So I don't think I'll be in the same success, you know, honestly. Me, myself, personally.
Absolutely. And if I could just touch on what Deion just said, I know for a fact that we are a family of faith. You know, I mean, I know that for in anything and everything. I used to tell my kids all the time that I started out building houses, probably being one of the only minority contractors on a big job like Toll Brothers or Ryan Homes, where everybody else was our Caucasian. So again, that was a struggle by itself. So just to persevere through that as being one of the only minority contractors framing houses back when I started, I knew that had nothing but God pushed me through, because most people would have given up and say, you know what, I don't need to do this. I don't need to have these people here telling me, oh, you should be sweeping the floor, not building a house. So I know to have that type of faith in the Lord, that's the only way you can push through that. Yeah. Because again, when I first started out in this industry of building houses from the ground up, it was only Caucasians. And I mean, now the industry has changed up drastically, but when I started, there was no minorities.
You know what? I never shared with you, Deion. I used to compete nationally, and I owned a gym in a health club. But my mother and father always used to tell me, "You're your only competition." And here's how I used to think, and here is how I think now. As long as I stay in my lane, and I'm true to who I am, no one can stop that. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what type of people or how many people you know. If God places me there, and I believe with it, when I'm in His will and I'm in obedience to His word, He's going to guide me. I don't have to worry about any competition. Exactly. What's your thoughts, Mr. Davis? And we'll get to Deion.
I agree 100%. I definitely agree. If He places you in that atmosphere, in that environment, then you're supposed to be there. Most definitely.
Thank you. And Deion, you look like you're getting excited.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel that with my soul, you know, like everywhere that I think I'm headed, I feel like God put me there and I'm supposed to be there, you know what I mean? Because I mean, if I'm not supposed to be there, I'm not going to be there pretty much, you know, like I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like a feeling, like you just know, like this is where I'm supposed to be at.
Hey, Mr. Davis, I'm going back to my thoughts, and I watched the video, and I had to take my glasses off.
Yeah.
And as I was taking my glasses off, watching the video, I said, I don't believe what your son just purchased. Do you know what it was?
What was it?
That trolley car.
Oh, the trolley car, yeah.
Deion, share with the listeners about the trolley car.
Yeah, trolley car. So it looks like actually right when me and my wife first got to Florida. I don't know. I just was on Facebook Marketplace, you know, scouting on Facebook Marketplace. So I just like looking at it because it's just kind of entertaining. So I seen this trolley car and I was like, this is a trolley car. And, you know, now once I've seen it, I have all these ideas racing through my head. Like, what can I do with this trolley car? Like, it's an older trolley car. It's still running. Everything's good. It has low miles on it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. Maybe I'm going to like revamp it and go ahead and make it my own thing. You know, like I was going to maybe put it on Airbnb or I don't know, because I got an entrepreneurial mindset. So I was thinking of all these different ways I can make money with it. And then I bought it and I was like, while I'm fixing it up, I'm going to put it back up on Facebook Marketplace just for a little bit more money. So then I have no, it's like a fail safe, you know. So if I don't get to fixing it quick enough, then I can always sell it. And then 2 weeks come by, and somebody just wants to come by. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't even get a chance to start working on it. And I just was like, I obviously was going to sell it because it was just a quick turnaround. So that's why I got the trolley car. And I've never even drove a bus before. I drove down 2.5 hours down in South Florida, picked it up. My wife's following me in our other car, and I'm driving back 2.5 hours back in a trolley car. I never drove a bus before, so it was a fun experience. But
So,
gotta enjoy things like that.
Yeah.
so did you sell it?
Yeah, I did sell. Yeah,
Did you make a profit?
yeah. Actually, a really handsome profit. Actually, a very handsome profit. Very, very handsome.
Mr. Davison, thank you for sharing, Deion.
Mhm.
How important, Mr. Davis, is it no matter what, we have a business, sometimes we'll go out there and price something and we undervalue not the job, but ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
How important is it to sometimes say, you know what, I must stay with the value, even if I have to lose this opportunity? Share with us, Mr. Davis.
Absolutely. That is probably the most important thing that we have to understand. That you have to know what you're worth. You can't go to a job site. A lot of contractors do that. They'll go to a job and they'll price the job out, and then they just feel like, okay, well, that number may be high. Let's use a hypothetical number. Let's say 50 grand. Now, then you know that the job needs $50,000 to get it taken care of. But in your mindset, you're like, oh, these people may not accept it. So now let me drop my price down so drastically that now I can't make any type of money at all. So that's why we have to understand that. When you go to a job site, and I tell Deion this all the time, I say, if you go to a job site and you price out a job and the customer is haggling you about the prices you're giving them, then that just means that you're not the right person for that job. Mm. Don't drop your prices down so low that you're pretty much doing it for nothing. Because again, your time is worth something. So you have to be able to be like, okay, for me being out here, I have to justify my time. Mm-hmm. So you can't really say, okay, well, let me take my numbers down to that point to make this customer happy, because now they're pretty much getting everything for nothing.
Yeah.
There you
go. And unfortunately, customers these days, clients, they want everything for nothing. Not saying that it's a bad thing or a good thing, but everybody wants to build the Taj Mahal, but don't have Taj Mahal funding.
That's right. That's right. I just felt in my spirit how important it is to take baby steps, to let nothing. Let me just say what I'm sensing. Sometimes I'll receive a vision, and the vision is big. It's many times, or several times, I should say, I receive a vision during prayer. Mm-hmm. But I work with a pastor. He said, Greg, sometimes the vision is out here, way out here. Mm-hmm. We have to take the baby steps. We have to figure it out. We have to trust God. We have to build that solid foundation so we can move towards that vision. Deion, share with us, please.
Towards the vision?
Yes, please.
Oh, so for me, I always had visions. The same thing how you said it. I've had visions about football, my career with football. I've had visions about my company and construction. And for me, I always have those big visions, and I always got to kind of bring myself back in, because sometimes when you get a huge vision, it kind of, you kind of try to overextend yourself sometimes. You're like, I want to get there super quick, but you got to be like, I can't get there super quick because I got to take the baby steps, just like you said previously, because without the baby steps, you can't get to that bigger goal. It all has to build up to that point, So that's what I like to see. When it comes to visions, it's like sometimes you just got to take it slow, That's what I see.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Davis, when you begin a vision, how important is it for us to be humble in reaching that humility? How important is that?
That is huge. You have to be like, when you have a vision in your head, you have to understand that a lot of times in life, you have to be humble to the fact of what's going on around you. You can't always be so arrogant and be like, okay, here's where I want to do, and that's it. Sometimes you got to humble yourself, because then you know that you're not downgrading yourself or below or making yourself lower than what it is, but you're understanding everyone's situation. And in life, there's always two sides to every life standard. Every life standard that comes across your plate, there's always two sides. So sometimes you got to sit back and look through the eyes of the individual that you're dealing with, opposed to only want to see it your way.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to humble yourself in every situation that goes on in life. I mean, that's a part of life in itself.
Mr. Davis, about a couple of days ago, I sent your son a quote. And I don't know if you remember the woman. She was blind. Her name was Helen Keller. She was a blind woman.
Uh-huh.
And she wrote a quote that really was profound to me anyways. She said, the worst thing than being blind is having sight but no vision.
Right. That's tough. Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah. And she was a blind woman.
Right.
But she still had a purpose. She could see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Deion, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Is your generation, the youth,
Yeah.
do they understand that they have a purpose inside of them that God placed in them? Do you think they hear it, but they don't really believe it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, they hear it, but they don't believe it. And I just feel like a lot of people, when they see the signs in their life to go ahead and go with their purpose, sometimes, a lot of times, they walk the opposite way because they don't understand that that's what they're supposed to be doing, because they want to do what they want to do with their life. So they of course, I mean, everybody has purpose, and there's some people have visions, but they kind of walk away from it because they don't realize until way later in life. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, I guess they kind of do, but it's hard to speak on it, because some people do. They have their vision, they're ready to go, like someone like me, but a lot of younger guys and younger girls, they don't see it the same way as some people,
Why did you choose
to
trust the vision inside? Was it because you had parents that encouraged you? Did that help?
Yeah, that played a huge role in it. My parents and my situation, just everything. It just played a huge role in it. And I guess that's what God instilled inside me. Like, it's just how God created me, I don't know. I mean, definitely my parents had to play a huge, huge role in that, because they taught me the right way, what's right from wrong. And that has to play a big role with other people as well, because, not knowing right from wrong, you won't really know this is the right vision to take, You won't see the correct steps to take to get to where you want to go. Sometimes they may take the wrong way because they think that's the easier way. It looks way more simple than taking this way, even though in the long way, the harder way was going to appeal way more than that quick, easy way,
Did your parents allow you, when you made mistakes?
Yeah, definitely.
Did they allow you to fall so you could feel your error?
Oh, yes, of course, definitely. 100%, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Davis, I see you're smiling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So why is it important for us to allow our children to make mistakes without jumping in to cushion the suffering from that mistake?
Again, because I tell you, like I used to tell all my kids all the time, like, you actually have to go through it to experience anything. You have to actually be able to live life to understand how life rotates around the world. If you constantly always there to jump in to save them from anything, they're never going to build character. When a person or a young individual, especially the youth these days, they actually have to go through some tribulations just to understand that life is not just given to you. It's not just handed to you because of the mere fact that you're here. In order to get what you want to get, you got to have first and foremost, you got to have faith in the Lord. You got to trust in the Lord first to know that, okay, you may see some dark times, because that's just how life is. Life is going to come at you in all different directions, but you're going to have some troubled times. But you got to just know that I'm going to get past this. I'm not going to get past this on my own free will. I'm going to get past it because there's a higher power that's already carrying me through the wilderness, and trust in that. Trust in that to you 120%, and you will get past everything else. And once you start to learn that and really truly believe in that, everything else kind of flows easily, because now at this point now, okay, life is going to hand you a bad deck of cards, but you're going to be okay though, because you have a much stronger, higher power that's leading you.
And also my experience, I feel like God puts you through certain situations to build you up and get you prepared for something better in your life. So that's how I pretty much see it. Like certain things happen in my life, and I'm like, okay, this happened, but it turned into this, something much better. So I was like, this was supposed to happen for this, and the thing that might have happened might have not been most great in that direct moment, but in the long run, it paid off much better. So just in my experience, that's what I've seen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to your dad,
Yeah.
what lessons has your son taught you, Mr. Davis?
Well, most definitely, because the matter of fact, my son in the business, being completely honest, when I got into the trading, I made a lot of money. I make a lot of money, and my son taught me how to. Okay, like Dad, just because you're making all this money on this job, you still got to be able to kind of balance it out. So that's even one of the huger reasons why, one of the bigger reasons why I'm even here with him. Yeah, I can go back to up north and still make a lot of money. But again, if I don't learn that lesson to myself in my own heart, that even though you're here, you could be on the ground level at any time. So my son is definitely teaching me how to balance things out on a much more better way. Not saying, okay, well, I'll charge this and don't worry about it. We'll get it when we get it. So he's teaching me discipline just like I taught him discipline.
Deion, what lesson has your dad taught you?
It's too many to name. He taught me all the lessons I know, but I guess a major one. Let me think. He pretty much taught me how to be who I am practically. Growing up, becoming a man. Pretty much taught me all that. It's hard to say because you got to think he's my dad, so he pretty much taught me everything I kind of know. So, yeah.
So Deion, your dad mentioned that you taught him the value of making money, even if it's a small amount.
Yeah.
You can make that money work for you. They say very, very wealthy people, their thoughts are when they gain money, how can I make more money with it?
Yeah.
In certain environments, we're taught when we earn money, what bills do we have to pay? It's a different mindset. Let me ask you this, where you're at now in your life, Deion, what is wealth?
What is wealth? So to me, wealth has changed over time. When I was younger, when I was still playing football and everything, I thought wealth only meant money, the amount of money you have in your bank account. That's what I thought. And that meant like your cars, your houses, everything like that. That's how I seen it because I was younger and I didn't understand. But wealth to me now is, having time to be able to spend with your family, having that relationship with God, of course. That's the biggest thing to me. What else? Financial freedom is technically wealth because, it gives you time back to be able to spend with your family. And just, having discernment, really, being able to understand what's right and wrong, that's wealth, That's what I'm thinking in my head.
Same question for you, Mr. Davis. Absolutely, yeah. Wealth is not about how much dollars, like my son said, in your bank account. Mm-hmm. Wealth is about, like you said, your family, your relationship with the Lord. Wealth, you can have no money in your bank account at all, but if you have a full heart and a good heart with the Lord, you are very wealthy. Yeah. And people don't understand that. People think that wealth is just okay. I got a gazillion dollars in the bank account. I can buy what I want to buy, but that doesn't necessarily make you completely happy. When you're happy and you're happy with yourself and what you're doing in life, yes, you can have $0 and still be okay, because again, we have to refer back to the Lord. The Lord is going to definitely guide you in the right way, that where He knows that okay, you're going to still be okay. Like, I got you. So again, like I said, people look at wealth in the wrong perspective. Yeah. People look at wealth and saying, okay, well, I have to have this so I can look like I'm here. Yeah, that is true.
I'm going to hit you with I'm going to pitch a fastball to you, Deion.
Yep.
When you're wealthy in the Lord,
do
you protect the peace He places in you?
Yeah.
Do you protect the peace in your heart?
Yeah.
Would you consider that wealth?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's definitely wealth. The peace. And you already know in the Bible it says that you want to be content with what you're at because the Lord provided that for you. So you want to be content with what you got. So, of course, when the Lord gives you peace in your heart, that is a big thing. That's a huge thing.
Do you mind if I ask
Yeah.
your age?
My what?
Your age?
Oh, I'm 25.
How did you get at this level of understanding at 25?
My parents, I mean, pretty smart, and
We definitely, with our kids, we definitely we wasn't the easiest going parents, but we wasn't the strictest parents either. But we definitely put them in the perspective of make them understand that here's life and here's how life is going to come at you. Like my biggest thing with them was you're going to fall down sometime. You're always going to fall down. But the important part is that you're able to get back up and proceed on. You know, even though I remember reading somewhere, and I don't know if it was a pamphlet or whatever it was, but I remember reading years ago. There was a pamphlet that said that we're all saints, is that we're sinners that fall down, and then that where it comes to the important to is when you're a sinner and you fall down, just getting back up. Yes. And that's huge. That's able, like a lot of people just can't get back up once they fall down. You know what I mean? Once they get to their low point, they have no desire, or I'm not going to say desire, or maybe no information. I don't even know what word to use, but they don't know how to resurface themselves so that they're back in the same realm where they were. When I told, and best believe it, my son being a dad to a contractor, being a contractor for 35 years, there's been plenty of times that with the business it wasn't doing so great, but that didn't stop me. That didn't stop me at all, and I'm sure that's where he got his perseverance from. Yeah. That didn't stop me. That just let you know, okay, well, I just have to now continue doing what I'm doing, because in life it's not given to you. Yeah. It's not handed to you on a silver platter. So in order to get to the point where you want to be at, you gotta have a strong faith in the Lord, and you gotta know that I can do better.
Yeah. You mentioned, sometimes people just give up. They don't know how.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to add on to that, and I only look at it from my experience. When I'm able to look at my experience openly and honestly, I know why sometimes in my past when things seem heavy, I just wanted to quit. But I realized I lost hope.
Yeah.
Right.
When you lose hope.
Yeah.
When I lost hope, I didn't have any desire to move forward, because hope is everything.
Everything keeps you pushing.
Hope will make you feel purposeful. Deion, is hope needed in anything we do? With hope, can we get by hard times?
Yeah, hope will take you through just knowing, and hope, and you're like, I'm hoping that this is, it'll take you far, like super duper far in life. Like it really will. Hope can take you very, very far.
Yeah. So, Mr. Davis and Deion, what's the date today? Is it the 7th?
Yeah, I think it's the 7th. Right. Yeah, 7th. Yeah, September 7th.
Hey, Deion, let me ask you this question before we continue here.
Yep.
This guy I know, he's a go-getter, and I think he lives very, very close to you.
Yeah.
James and Cristo. He's a go-getter. That's all I want to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I think today's the 7th of September.
Yes, sir.
Deion, when I called you the other day, did you think it was real?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest.
I want you to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Mr. Davis, did you think it was a joke, someone trying to scam you?
I thought so, yeah, because we were actually on a job site, and Deion was standing right next to me, and he said, someone's calling me about a radio station. And I thought, I'm like, okay, well, is it a telemarketer? Are they trying to telemarket you for something? So we didn't actually know what it was until Deion had said, no. And then when I came in to the office, he had told me, like, no, Dad, it's really real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy, he's genuine. And then I said, okay, well, no problem. Then if he's genuine, and it's definitely a Christian-based radio station, then we should definitely sit down and have a conversation.
Exactly.
So even though there was some fear and doubt, and nowadays you have to really be discerning.
Yeah, you have to.
Again, you don't know who's real or who's not. Yeah. But if we have God, he's going to show us. He's going to give us some type of sign, or some type of red flag's going to pop up if we pay attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, is that true, Mr. Davis? If we pay attention, will God show us who people are?
He definitely will.
And I pray about that a lot too, for God to show me as well.
Yeah. Hey, Deion, there is something I would like to share with you.
Yeah.
And it just struck me in my spirit. In one of your videos, and I could see you were working for this subcontractor.
Yeah.
And you said it was like $1 million company.
Yeah.
And you took everyone through this nice neighborhood, and I
Yeah.
guess you met that contractor.
Yep.
In one moment, I had a knowing in my spirit. I'm saying, hold it.
Mhm.
God is only showing Deion through this person that this is going to happen to him.
Yeah.
It was a mirror image of your future.
My future, yeah. God will. That's what I'm hoping towards, pushing towards.
Yep. And again, but I think there's something even more going on. Mr. Davis, how important is it if we have many talents? This is one aspect of you and your son building a business. But do you believe God has different things for you already in place if you trust him?
Absolutely. Like, yeah, Deanna and I are building this business here, but again, we're doing multiple things besides just building this business. So yeah, that's already a sign on the wall saying the Lord already has a plan for us. Because I could have stayed back in PA and did the exact same thing, and knowing that my son was down here by himself struggling. Yep. But the Lord said to me, you need to go down there to help your son, and the two of you need to start a business down there together. Yeah. So that now that you guys can combine your forces to become one big company.
Yeah, big company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: how long will you be there? Do you think, Mr. Davis? How long will you be in Florida?
I moved. I live here. Yeah.
Oh, you moved?
Yeah. I still have the business in PA, but I now live in Florida as well. I now have 2 residents.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think God may be taking you next, Deion?
I can't quite 100% tell you, but I feel like it's something to do with social media and YouTube, because I'm always trying to give glory to the kingdom, of course, on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure, but also I do like doing construction and what we're doing currently. I do enjoy doing that, but I feel like it's something to do with that, and obviously so I can keep spreading the word of the good news, of the kingdom. But I can't quite put 100% put my finger on it. That's what I think personally,
Look, do you think sometimes you ever been in a relationship and our emotions are in it, but we can't see what other people may be seeing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember when I first met you, I saw you and your dad not only doing construction, but also coaching, sharing with people on a media platform, because you both have a natural skill. First of all, I can tell on those videos, you're just being who you are. You're not trying to be someone you're not, because again, it would lose your authentic self. You would lose that. And that's wealthy when you can protect that and be that. I think that's the gift and personality traits that God gave us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Do you see as a possibility that maybe once a month or whatever, we won't get ahead of God, but do you see you having a radio show on a radio station?
I would definitely do that. I have no problem with it. I mean, if God wants me to go towards that path, I would easily do it. That's where it's going to be. Let
me ask you this.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I know you're already thinking, well, if this type of platform that God has assigned to us for our next assignment, how will it benefit our business? See, I always have to think, okay, if I do this, how will it affect and impact my business? Will it take so much energy away that my business, what I'm doing now, I won't be able to nurture it? Or will it be able to help my business go to the next level where I can still maintain my peace? That's how I think. I got to maintain that peace and connection with God no matter what's offered to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Your thoughts, Mr. Davis?
My thoughts are that's 100% right. You have to, in any perspective or anything that you do, you have to keep in mind, okay, like how is this going to affect my personal life, especially when you're a business owner, my personal life, my business life, and anything that comes along with it. So you always have to keep in your mind, okay, well, would this work for us? Would this work for everybody? You know what I mean? Because in any perspective, it's got to work for whoever we're doing a radio station with, and then obviously we have to have our time too. Because when you run a construction company, there's a lot of time dedicated to it in the field. Yeah. So that's you have to put all those components in together to make sure that it actually works. So yeah, I agree exactly what you're saying. That it has to work.
I didn't share this with you. I think I might have shared something briefly with you, but my wife, her name is Rebecca. Yep. And the reason why she put up Kingdom Builders, it's been for the last 8 or 9 years, or maybe a little longer. But recently I had a dream. And then recently I was in prayer and I saw this big field. This was about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And along and outside of the field, I saw all this construction equipment.
Yep.
Then prior to that dream, there's a person who I grew up in my small town. He's done he's done well, and he's into construction. He has quite a few businesses. But in my dream, I was with him. And all of a sudden, once again, it was a beautiful parcel of land, just gorgeous. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden, it went from that dream to a mailbox. And in the mailbox, I kept on reaching in the mailbox, pulling out all this mail, endless mail. Yeah. And then it went from that framework to all these people coming around me. But it was a community that was being built. Okay. And then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, I run into your video. But my wife reminded me of that dream as she just posted Kingdom Builders, because on the One Source Network website, we have a page about what God's about to do. And it's called Kingdom Builders.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think God, sometimes before things begin, sometimes he may give us a sign or a vision to say what might be coming ahead?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
100%. Every time he gives you a sign.
He always gives you a sign.
How do we know if it's God?
That's what you use your discernment. You got to use your discernment and understand if it's from God or if it's not from God. You know?
Mm-hmm. How do you know? You have years on your son, Mr. Davis, with all the learning that you've been through.
Right. You just have the faith in the Lord. Like I said again, I refer back to that again. Like you just have to have, like if you see a sign and you're not sure about that particular sign,
yes,
and you're trying to wonder, okay, is it a fake sign or is it a real, or is it a sign from the Lord? Only thing you could do at that point there is expedite it. Check it out, figure it out, say, okay, well, and then because you're going to, once you get into it, automatically you're going to see whether or not if it's fake or not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then at that point there, you make your own determination on whether you're going to continue with it or if you're going to back up. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. As someone comes up to you, I mean, especially being in the business, there's always a lot of people coming up. I'm a carpenter. I'm a master carpenter. I can do this, that, and the third. Again, I don't know. I don't know if they can or can't. So again, I got to put my trust in the Lord and say, okay, yeah, sure, we'll bring you in and get you started. And then at that point there, you'll see whether or not that person is real about what he says he is, or if he's just playing games. Yeah. So you just let the Lord. The Lord's he's going to lead you. He's not going to lead you down a tunnel and leave you there to die. Yeah. He's going to lead you, and he's going to make your awareness know that, okay, no, this person is not the right person. It's not the right fit for you. And then now you make that decision to say, listen, we have to sever our ties from here and go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's the best loving thing you could do for a person, to tell the truth.
To tell the truth. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Have you ever noticed in a decision where there was an opportunity presented to me not long ago, But when I got off the phone with the person, all of a sudden I had a little fear and doubt. Right there, that told me this is not of God.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
If I have more fear than doubt, God is saying, hey, this opportunity may not be from me. But
Absolutely.
another thing, but when I leave a conversation and I feel his peace and presence, then I tend to pay attention. I'll take another step towards it. What's your thought, Deion?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, like you can definitely feel it when you're in a certain situation. You can definitely feel it from the very beginning. So obviously, if it does, I mean, for me personally, when I feel a little scared and I feel a little timid about somebody, I kind of try to feel them out a little bit more. I may pray about it, and then that's when I make a decision on it. Because, like you said, you can't feel it from the very beginning. Like if it's something not communicating or something's not intertwining with each other to make it feel like regular, then you gotta use your discernment and be like, this might not be for me, or if this, I might take the chance with it, and God will be with me no matter what. You know.
We have a couple of minutes left because once again, this broadcast will air. Well, tomorrow's the 8th. It will air the week after this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 99.9 WUCC radio. And that will air about 5 to 6 times throughout the week. So it will get plenty of airtime. So, Deion, what's the name of your YouTube channel, and how can someone reach out to you if they want you to do some construction, you and your dad?
Okay, so the name of my YouTube channel is Entrepreneur Davis on YouTube, and how you could reach out is you could email me at global.landscapersllc@gmail.com if you would like to have some work done. We service all of Florida. There's not a spot in Florida we won't go. And like my dad always says, his slogan is if you can dream it, we can build it.
If you can dream it, you can build it.
Hey, I got a tough one for you, Mr. Davis. Bobcat or Kubota?
Kubota.
Really?
Yeah, because Kubota built all the motors for Bobcat and CAD and JCB. Kubota, before they actually started producing equipment, all they did was build motors. And all those motors were placed into those different pieces of equipment. So that's why I say Kubota, even though they're like kind of still new in the industry as far as the equipment go, their motor's been around forever.
Wow. So your last word, 20 seconds before we close this program, Deion, then we'll go to your dad for his last words.
Yep. So my last words is always, build your relationship with God, get in your Bible, repent, and turn your life to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Mr. Davis?
And my last words are that they definitely stay strong in your faith, whether it's Christianity, Catholic, whatever the faith is that you follow. Stay strong in that, because the Lord is going to lead you in the right direction.
Wow. And once again, I was going to say, can you hold on after the broadcast? Do you have 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. So once again, it was a wonderful show. And I call it straight from the heart. I always use the word, when you come straight from your heart to the best of our abilities. I could say you feel that connection when you're just being who you are. So I want to thank you both. And even though I'm a lot older than you, Deion, I always want to be teachable as an elder. I want to be able to always learn something about myself. So, and you too, Mr. Davis, we see the fruits of your labor through your son.
Absolutely.
So God bless everyone. God bless you both.
God bless you as well.
And stay on for 1 minute, please, if you would.
Okay.